quack, 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 quack. Yes! The final episode of The Mighty Ducks Game Changers, or at least Season 1, is out now, and I was actually kind of excited for the finale. I've reviewed every episode of the show, and it definitely started to improve. I will say that. Was the Season 1 finale satisfying? Yeah, pretty much. But did it blow my mind or anything? No, because I think that I was also thinking that it might, because the last 3 shows that I've watched, or at least ones recently, have been The Mandalorian, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and WandaVision. And of course, all those shows right at the end have some big cameo or someone revealed or something, so my expectations were kind of there. But then I gotta take a step back and kind of realize I don't really need to expect that. I just need to have fun, and that's what this episode is. No, I did not mean to reference the show when I said I only need to have fun. But anyway, how was the episode? I quite enjoyed it. There were things about it I didn't like, but there were a lot of things that I did really enjoy. And let's talk about the positives first. So the Ducks are finally at state, and they're just climbing up, we'll say. They're beating almost every team, and then they're in the semis, I think it is, and then they play the Lumberjacks, who are a ton bigger than them, which is obvious because they're obviously years older, but still, it's funny because they're here, and then Lumberjacks are here, and then of course, the Ducks are on the other side, and they're climbing up, of course they're on 2 different sides, and then they play each other in the finals, but we don't see a single bit of that game. We don't see any of it. And I was like, what the hell? What's the point of that? What is the point of that at all? I don't really get it. I was confused. But then I was like, okay, because the episode wasn't over. There was still 10, 15 minutes left. And then the Ducks and, well, technically the new Ducks, or the Don't Bothers, they kind of set this deal up. If the current Mighty Ducks win, then the Don't Bothers have to go away, and their team just, they become the Don't Exists, as they say. Oh well. And then if the Don't Bothers win, or the new Mighty Ducks, they get to take their name as the Mighty Ducks. And I'm only saying that because in that final game, the real final game, they come out repping these jerseys, the original jerseys, which was really awesome. I thought, I was like, okay, that's kind of nice. One thing I wish that we did see was Charlie Conway, but we didn't. But oh well. But throughout the episode, I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is obviously going somewhere different, and I could tell it seemed like they were setting some things up, and there were things that obviously were a lot of us predicted that were kind of paid off here, which I think was good, but it also took some kind of turns throughout, which I enjoyed, and every episode kind of does that. The episodes subvert your expectations in little ways, not whoa, big massive way, I couldn't believe this happened, but it's kind of cool. And Sophie actually has to step out and not play the final 2 games technically, and it's a massive deal to her. It's the biggest deal in the world because her parents have raised her to believe that winning's everything, and she's carrying the underdog team to state, and then now she has to step out, and her parents are like, no, you can say, we don't want you to hurt your knee or anything. She's like, no, what are you saying? I have to. And then the team, they have this players only meeting, which I was like, okay, here that is again, which is kind of a thing anyway. But they kind of all decide no, if you won't sit out, then I will. And they start dropping. Then when they were dropping their sticks, I was like, okay, that's a little over dramatic in a way, but then I like what they're doing. The thing I really liked about this episode was the whole kind of the messages and the meanings behind it, of it doesn't really matter if we win as long as we're having fun. There's a lot of things like that. There's a lot of really important messages throughout this episode, as I just said, and I think that maybe the way they're written out was better than the execution, but I mean, overall it was actually a really good episode. There are some flaws though, and I will say, before I started the episode, my friend, my best friend Logan, texted me, and he's just like, yeah, Mighty Ducks Game Changers is good, but the hockey's aspect is terrible. And I'm like, well, that's kind of a big part of the show, but I also kind of see where it's coming from. I don't think it's terrible. I just think it's one of the weaker aspects of the show, which is weird because it's a big thing. And I really enjoy a lot of the hockey scenes, but one thing I just cannot stand, I don't know what it is, I just cannot stand it, is the whole blindfolded hockey thing. Because I don't even care that they're doing it. It's how the other team reacts. Every time they close their eyes, the other team just stops. I'm like, have you ever played hockey before? Because if you close your eyes, the team's just gonna plow right through you and you have no way of winning. And some of the way that it's shot is almost like a Hey Barber, Pavel Barber, GoPro type stuff. And I'm like, really? Because there's a lot smoother shots. I mean, we've seen it in movies, we even saw it in the original ones. They're shot a lot better. Miracle, there's a bunch like this, and some of those it's whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And I'm like, really? Like, what are you really trying to show off here? And also, final thing I'll say about that whole part is that the goalies are terrible. Like, they're so bad. Kub he's definitely better than the other ones, but some of the goals are so bad. And I noticed this like earlier on in the show, and it's not just me being picky. Like, I don't care. I'm not saying the actors are bad. I'm saying the skill of the goalies, especially for the other teams, are terrible. They let in like the worst goals ever. I always find, like, sure, there are some, you know, when Logan does his move, what do they call it, like serving up or like breakfast something. So there are some things there which I'm like, okay, you really could have, you know, shot it better. And it's even shot better earlier on in the show, so I get they're going for like a grander look to it, which is kind of funny. But when they're going like this and shooting like Dutch angles for the sticks, I'm like, you didn't really need to do that. And some of the, some of the skills of the other team, I'm just like, if you're getting this high at state or wherever, why are you playing like this? But I will say I did really enjoy this episode. Sure, I did have some negatives. Some of the stuff is a little, and sometimes it does get like too built up, not over dramatic, but a little bit too glorious in a way. But there were a lot of things I liked about it. I did like what they did with Sophie and Evan. I thought it was sweet, it was cute. It was going to show up sometime in the show, and I'm glad they finally pulled it off. And overall, this show has been fun. It's not been the greatest thing ever, but I don't think it's bad either. I just think it's good to really good. Depends on the episode, but overall, it is a good show that I recommend you check out if you're a fan of those first two films. Maybe if you like the third one too. And I'm going to give episode 10 of The Mighty Ducks Game Changers a 3.5 out of 5. I might just rank the episodes on like Instagram or something. I was gonna do a video on YouTube, but I mean, I was like, there's not too much to talk about since I've already reviewed all the episodes. So I'll post on Instagram someday soon. I get a lot of videos. I got like 2 other ones to post today, and then two a day until like Monday, because I did finally hit 1,000 subscribers. And thank you all for that. I'll have a big video coming soon. And what did you think of this episode? Did you think it was a satisfying conclusion to season 1 or the show? I'm not sure if they've confirmed a season 2. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Over and out. Quack, 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 quack.